A lot of us get analysis paralysis when it comes to creating our portfolios, and that is completely understandable as it's a huge part of the hiring process. A portfolio is a great way to showcase your work, to display the skills that qualify you for a role, and it also allows potential employers to get to know you a bit better. Hello and welcome back. In today's video, I am going to be talking about what to put in your design portfolio. This follows on from my previous video, which talks about where to find remote UX jobs. If you haven't seen that already, just hop on back and give it a watch, as it will also help you to decide what to put in your portfolio if you have a job application to reference, because you can show examples of work that meet their requirements, and it gives you a better idea of what hiring managers are looking for. Now, let's dive straight in by looking at the types of projects that you should include in your portfolio. To put it simply, include projects that you are proud of and that you can talk about in great detail. Think about what a hiring manager needs to know about you and your work. You want to be able to walk them through your design process with each case study in your portfolio. A case study is an example of a completed project, documenting your whole design process from start to finish. Start by defining the problem you set out to solve and your role within a team. If you are involved with the research and analysis, you can talk about it. If you worked alongside a user researcher, you can talk about this too. Having outlined the problem, you need to write in detail about your process. Show any artifacts created along the way. These could be things like low fidelity wireframes, personas, analytics data, and surveys. Make it clear how you reached your final solution and include any metrics that reinforce the results achieved. Structure and content. I believe that there are 3 core elements that make up a portfolio. Starting with structure, how you organize it. Think of it as you would a wireframe. Then there is content, what you put in it, and format, how you present it. The structure I would recommend following looks like this. In your portfolio, you would have an about section, case studies, and CV, which in my case, I uploaded to Google Drive and added to my website as a link so they could download it if needed. And that was literally it. I had 3 menu items and they were exactly that. Yes, you could have a blog or additional pages, but if this is something that will slow you down, move on and come back to it later. Stick to the essentials first. In your about section, make sure you include your full name and job title. Note here that if you're applying to a UX role or product design role, make sure you have the relevant title there. Again, I'm going to ask you to reference the job application for what to put here, but only if you can actually do it. If you have no experience in running workshops, for example, don't pretend that you do. Instead, find examples where you can talk about leading activities, research, and other UX-related tasks to make you a strong candidate for the role. And to wrap up your about section, include a contact email, as you want to make it super easy for them to contact you. This should also be very clearly pointed out on your CV. For your case studies, I recommend including 3 to 4 project case studies to share with potential employer. I like to aim for 4 personally, as it allows me to show a good variety of work and it's easy for me to lay out in a simple grid. But if you only have 3, that's absolutely fine. When it comes to choosing projects for your portfolio, quality always beats quantity. If you're applying to a company that produces a lot of mobile apps, for example, you want to show that in your portfolio. I highly recommend creating a responsive portfolio website, as this means your work will look good on both mobile and desktop views and be easy to share with potential employers. There are a lot of options to choose from these days. When I first started out, I had a WordPress portfolio and I simply purchased a template to work from. Recently, I needed to put together a new portfolio really quickly So I chose to work with Squarespace. Now, this isn't a sponsored video. I just found their platform really easy and intuitive to work with, especially for someone who was short on time and needed to get my work online and presentable quickly. In future, I'd like to take more time to explore working with Webflow to build my next portfolio website. I've seen and heard from a lot of designers working with it recently, and I'm curious to see what all the fuss is about because it looks good. Have any of you used Workflow? If so, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below, as I'm really open to suggestions and any tips for working with Workflow at the moment. When it comes to a portfolio website, the hiring manager isn't really bothered how you create it, as long as it's presentable, accessible, and easy to navigate. I also recommend using your own domain name, as this looks more professional. Now, I briefly touched on accessibility earlier. When showcasing your work, please remember to apply accessibility best practices. Some things that you could do to improve the accessibility of your portfolio website include colour contrast. Use sufficient colour contrast between the text and background. Having enough contrast between the words and the background makes reading so much easier and more pleasant for everyone, especially when using a mobile device. To check your colour contrast levels, you can use WebAIM's Colour Contrast Checker, which I will link below. Next, you should use alt text for images. Alt text is one of the main ways of making visual information accessible. These descriptions are picked up by screen readers and read aloud to those with visual impairments. It also benefits your search engine optimization ranking. Also, use descriptive links. This is a simple one but also very effective. Using the words "click here," for example, in links is not always helpful for screen reader users. Try using text that describes where the link will go, such as view CV, to help explain the context of each link. Now we've covered what to put in your UX design portfolio, I'm hoping it will help you overcome any fears or procrastination that you may have had, because jobs wait for no one, and you need to be prepared when a great opportunity comes your way. I can admit that I've been caught out before by not having my portfolio up to date. To recap, you need to include projects that you're proud of and can talk about your full design process in great detail. Include 3 to 4 project case studies to share with a potential employer on a responsive portfolio website using your own domain name. You can improve the accessibility of your website by checking the colour contrast, using alt text for images, and using descriptive links. In the next video, I'll be talking about the type of questions to prepare for in your interview and tips on how to best answer them. As always, if you have any questions about UX design portfolios or would like to have a portfolio review session with me, I'm now on Superpeer. And you can book in a session where I can review your portfolio should you need the extra support. I've left the details in the description below if you want to check that out. For now, have a great week and I will see you in the next video. Bye!